Hello, my name is Brendhan Harris from the New Hampshire Insurance Department's Fraud Unit. Thank you again for joining us for an episode of Fraud of the Month. Today's episode is about a gentleman from Manchester, New Hampshire who reported his car stolen, and it was found on Revere Beach Boulevard in Massachusetts, and it was stripped and it was a total loss. He filed an insurance claim for the auto theft, and during the claims process, the carrier had identified some financial motive on behalf of this gentleman, and there were some concerns with his facts of loss. He said on May 6th, he had gone to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning and stayed in his apartment and did not notice his car was missing till about 8:25 p.m. During the claims investigation, he ended up producing his cell phone records, which showed numerous phone calls throughout that day. Also, when his car was recovered, the ignition had some cosmetic damage to it, but it wasn't properly damaged the way you would need to properly steal his car. So someone had beat up the ignition to make it look stolen, but it really wasn't stolen. Also, because the way the ignition was damaged, only a key could be used to drive the car. So there was a few concerns, and the insurance carrier made a referral to my unit. I did a search warrant on this gentleman's cell phone records, and I wanted to see where his cell phone was during the day when he said he was in his apartment and didn't know the car was missing till 8:25 p.m. What happens when you do a search warrant like that, you get the results back from the cell phone carrier, and it'll show you little pins of all the different antennas that his phone could ping off of during the day. In this particular case, what we found is that his cell phone actually pinged from Manchester right down to Revere Beach Boulevard, pinging off the tower right where his car had been recovered the next day, and then pinging all the way back to Manchester, New Hampshire. And about 15 minutes after returning to Manchester, he then called 911 to report his car stolen. As I had an opportunity to speak with him, he did not disappoint me. He lied to me, told me that he had no idea where his car had been recovered. He knew very to little no information. Then I produced the records from the search warrant. Once he was confronted with showing that his cell phone, which he said was in his possession the whole time, had actually pinged right down to where his car was recovered and then back home to call 911, he then started to cry and gave a full confession. Essentially, he said that his engine had blown and he had tried to get his car inspected. It had failed inspection, and this is back in the days when you had 60 days to get your car repaired and get a new inspection sticker put on it. His car was reported stolen on the 59th day. He had blown a cylinder in his engine and he just didn't have the money to get it fixed. He said he felt peer pressure from some of his friends who suggested he report it stolen and that he could collect from the insurance company. The gentleman apologized for his actions, again, said that he felt that he had made some really bad decisions, and he was ultimately charged and pled guilty to felony insurance fraud here in New Hampshire. If you have any information that you'd like to share with the Insurance Fraud Unit, please call me directly. Again, my name is Brendhan Harris. My telephone number is 603-271-2162, and I'll gladly take your information personally. And I want to thank you again for joining us for one more episode of Fraud of the Month.